Nut Nerd Podcast, episode 317. Behold, the power of backup.
Welcome to the Nut Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better in 2022. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
Man, I can't believe it. I had to write today's date today, and I wrote 2022 and didn't screw up.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's impressive.
I know.
I rarely write the date these days, but remembering that at the beginning of the year often takes some adjustment.
Yes, we are here in a new year, and we couldn't be more excited to talk tech with all of you.
Yes. And I will let people know here at the top of the show, next week is our 6th anniversary of the podcast.
Wow.
I believe it was June 9th, 2016, January 9th, 2016 that we started this little adventure. So at your kitchen table with microphones in hand, and we've slightly improved the quality over the last 6 years. But that being said, if you would like to call in, video in, whatever you want to do, type in, telegraph in, any of those things. If you have some kind words, which I don't know why you would.
No.
If you've got a product, a question, any of that stuff, we do like to hear from you guys, and we will feature those in that next episode 318. So when you hear this, get right on it. Don't delay. And get something over to us before the end of the week. And I'll try to put something on social media too, just to get in front of your face one more time to remind you to do that, because we do enjoy that when we hear from you all. So whatever you might have to say, send it our way.
And Nate, how would they send it that way? Do we have a phone number or something they could call in a message? Or
yes,
how do they do this?
We do. We do have our Google Voice number at 608-618-NERD, which is 608-618-6373. So you can do that. You can email us. You can message us on social media, carrier pigeon, train, plane, automobile, whatever it may be, you can send it over that way. But if you just want to leave a message, that would probably be the easiest way, is use the phone number, and then we can get that audio and use that. But whatever your preference, we will accept it and try to correctly implement it into the episode.
And if you need to talk to us, you can always just call that number and ask a question, and we will get back to you.
Yes, indeed. Well, let us move into some follow-up. So I really jinxed us, Dave.
Oh, yeah?
Just a few weeks ago, I made my pick of the week, the Cable Matters HDMI cables. And I said, forever I've said it doesn't really matter which cable, but I've heard these ones are better. Well, we're coming right up on the 2022 Consumer Electronics Show, which is quickly losing steam as more and more people pull out or companies pull out of the show due to fears amidst the Omicron variant of COVID-19. So I don't know how much of a show CES is going to be. I was actually tempted to see, because somebody mentioned on another podcast that you can get a real good deal on hotels next week in Vegas.
Wow.
Because nobody's actually, like Microsoft, Google, a lot of the big people have come out. But as far as
maybe this is the year we can go down there.
I know. And I'd actually talked to a friend of the show, Mike Peterson. He said, you guys always talk about going. Are you going to go this year? And just never got around to looking at it. And then looks like it's maybe we could sneak in there.
Yeah.
I think we might be about the only ones there, so we could get some attention. We'll be the only tech site covering it. So maybe I will take a quick look to see if anything's available. But there are rumors, or it is expected that there is going to be a new HDMI standard that's going to be announced. The HDMI Forum has announced that HDMI 2.1a will be introduced. So I guess it's officially going to be introduced.
What was wrong with the old standard? I feel like we just kind of got rallied around a standard, and now they're going to change it again, huh?
Yes, so this newly redefined one adds source-based tone mapping. So it has to do, I believe, with HDMR processing, HDR tone mapping. So like it says here in the Apple Insider article, the addition means that an Apple TV or PlayStation 5 will be able to perform HDR tone mapping before sending the data to the television. But then your television has to be able to do it. So it's much like USB-C, it's becoming very convoluted. Now, it's not like your HDMI cables aren't going to work anymore.
Yeah.
That will never be the, well, I'm not going to say that. That is not the case. Even like with the better ones, I said, it just allows for even better processing and all this stuff. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, the continuation of that paragraph you were reading, there's a typo, I might add. There's no space after the period, but it says offloading processes to the source device could mean reduced lag times, improved picture calibration, and better mixed content mapping. But I have to say, you know, I'm kind of an audio video file to a certain extent.
Yes.
But everything has gotten so good, it really doesn't matter anymore. My kids, this is a little sidestep. I've talked about them having kind of a resurgence of the vinyl kick. Oh, I want to get a record player, buy some albums. And then I catch them listening to Alexa or their phone or whatever. Because, you know why? Because it's way more convenient. And it sounds 1,000 times better. I mean, okay, there are those who are going to argue with me about that.
Yes.
You know, necessity of having it quickly available outweighs any gains you're going to get from this pseudo vinyl whatever resurgence. So this is kind of the same thing. It's like, I feel like the HDMI we have is good enough. The common person is not going to notice. And it's just so convenient to go down to Goodwill and look through the bins of HDMI cables and grab one for 99 cents and hook it to your TV. So I know I'm kind of backwards from being the tech guy, but you get to a certain point in quality where it's good enough.
Yes. And my parents, we were over there watching something recently. It might have been the Great Christmas Light Fight or something, this competition show for Christmas. Yeah. But they have, it was a hand-me-down TV, a Samsung that they've had probably 10 years, and they've got the Comcast cable box connected into it via HDMI. But I was just sitting there going, this TV is still, it looks great. It's bright. It's not the best of the best, but it works, and it's, as long as you've got some size to the TV and a somewhat HD connection, you're probably going to be okay. Yeah. So, yes, I wouldn't worry about this HDMI 2.1a. I just thought it was ironic just after I had brought up, made some HDMI cables my pick of the week. But it also allowed us to get a quick jab in at the CES show as well. Yeah. Our next piece of follow-up, we talk about Lastpass all the time and encourage people to use a password manager. We like Lastpass. Well, there started being reports this last week of people getting alerts that somebody was trying to access their account, putting in their email address and their master password. So they're getting an email saying, hey, did you try to log in? Those ones that we've all seen, hopefully at some point or another, that are good practice to alert you if something happens. It was happening to multiple people, and of course, I think it was probably on Reddit. And there's a Hacker News forum where they were sharing that people are trying to breach, so they're trying to blame LastPass. Well, LastPass has come out with a couple statements. The first one, they said, it looks like it was credential stuffing, as it's called, where, they find a list of usernames and passwords, and what better thing to try to hack into than LastPass, where then you'll have access to everything. But they also came out with a second statement, and obviously LastPass has taken this very seriously to make sure, that nothing did happen within LastPass, and they are being adamant that nothing was breached, no information was given out, that it looks like there's just been a coordinated effort to try to find accessible LastPass accounts. But they also said no malware, no rogue browser extensions that they can find. And they also are thinking that there was maybe an error in their alert system that was sending this alert out to people when it didn't necessarily. So they made adjustments. So if you have listened to us and are using Lastpass and have seen this story around, from all signs, Lastpass, nothing's happened there. And just make sure you get, I mean, if there's one place that you use a strong, unique password, it's your Lastpass vault, because if somebody gets into that, and turn on two-factor authentication, especially with LastPass, so that you have to get a code or do something else before somebody would be able to get to your account.
Yeah. And before we move on to the next follow-up story, I'd like to say thank you to all of our international listeners. I've noticed a few upticks in some countries that we haven't seen before. Some of these may be older, but many of them are newer. And I just want to say thank you, one, to the UK and Ireland for being great supporters of us for months, maybe a year or so. Some new ones in Germany. We haven't had German listeners for a long time.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Is that correct?
Yeah, maybe. Belgium, a few in France, Spain, and even a couple, actually more in Portugal than in Spain. And this is one, this might have been a mistake. We've got one download from Ghana in Africa. So who knows?
Interesting.
A few in India, but a very sparse few. A couple in Indonesia. Actually, quite a few in Indonesia. And of course, Australia and New Zealand. So thank you. Oh, also, I don't want to forget our South American friends, Colombia. Some listeners in Colombia. So, and Brazil's been we've mentioned them before. And then Canada, blame Canada. We could sure use more listeners in Canada. There are a few, but
yes, come on, Canada.
Come on, Canada. We're right here.
We're right across the border. Yeah, it is. It is pretty cool to see that. Well, and I'm guessing that we have gained new listeners over the last year, and usually this episode, the first one of the year, a common topic for many people is New Year's resolutions, and we kind of go over this every year. And by the time this is released, I believe it'll be January 5th when this episode comes out. So any resolutions that you set your mind to, there's a good chance statistically that you've already kind of given up on them. And I think we've talked about it in the past, but one of the things is when you try to set a large goal for the entire year, it is very hard to meet that. Yeah. Set some smaller goals. Set a goal of, hey, and you know what? In the next week, I'm going to set up Lastpass, or we'll be talking about some other things later, or I'm going to think through what's something in my tech life or my non-tech life that I just need to get done. Like a simple thing that I've been putting off that'll make my life better. And maybe it's just setting your phone down more often, which I have contemplated maybe doing at some point in my life.
And I heard a good one the other day. It says, if you go through your day and you fail, let's say it's eating or something and you ate bad, try breaking up each day into 3 segments, morning, noon, and night. And you can say, oh, I failed in the morning, but I'm going to do good at noon and at the night or whatever. It gives you more opportunities to succeed. Yes. Yeah.
And as someone that has had success in the weight loss, which seems to be a very common one for people, that I really like that perspective, because you go, oh well, I ate bad today, I'll eat bad. And Vinny Tortorich, that I follow on the no sugar, no grain stuff, he always talks about when people set up their diet and they say, oh well, Saturday will be a cheat day. Well, then it turns in the weekend's going to be the cheat day. Well, then it turns into the weekend starts on Thursday, and before too long, you have more cheat days than you have good days. So the small biteable chunks of goals, the shorter term you can have for these things where you build to something better. I really like that idea of. Yes, because it's very easy to, if you eat a donut for breakfast, go, well, today's gone. And that applies to anything. It's like, oh, I woke up late. I didn't get work done in the morning like I was going to, or didn't start work on time. Oh, well, today's kind of a waste. So the quicker you can reset on things and get back on track, the better. So that's our yearly pronouncement on resolutions and the sort. And always helpful with resolutions, Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Okay, well, I thought since it's a new year, Nate, we can all use a little better organization. I mean...
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I know you have it dialed in. But for everyone else out there, if you're like me, the things around you, and if you could see a picture... I mean, Nate's probably looking back at my table there saying, what is all that crap just piled back there? Well, I got to tell you, on the front table, it's even worse than the back table.
Yeah.
But our computers can also become pits of chaos and disarray.
Yes.
And I found a support article on Apple that can kind of help you on your computer desktop. Now, this is specifically for Apple, but these methods and theories apply if you're on Linux or Windows or whatever, your own homebrewed type operating system that you programmed in your garage. I will have a link in the file description, but if you search, ways to organize files on your Mac desktop and an Apple support article comes up, it's likely that's the one. So this article goes through and talks about the different parts of your desktop. I won't bore you with those, but one of the obvious things that you can do if you keep a lot of files on your desktop is to organize them into folders. This may seem like an easy thing, but it really can clean up. And for those of you who don't want to go through the process of creating a folder and naming a folder and putting the stuff in there and remembering, I will say that there are ways to use automations to make this happen automatically. And there's even some that are built in right into the operating system of the past 3 or 4 operating systems, and they're called stacks. Now, Nate, have you ever used stacks before? I think we've talked about them on the show before.
Yes, I have.
So the idea behind stacks is the operating system will automatically group together like kinds of files. So if you have a bunch of JPEGs, it's going to group them together in a stack. A bunch of PDFs, a bunch of Pages documents, or whatever. If they're on your desktop and you initialize the stacks feature, it's going to put them in little piles. And then you simply click on the stack and it will spring open the contents of all the stuff. Now, I personally think Apple could do a better job of differentiating which icons are part of the stack and which aren't when the stack is open. Because when you click it open, it looks like you just have a bunch of things on your desktop again. It seems very unorganized. I'd like to see them maybe have a subtle darkening of the backdrop behind the stack or something to say kind of this is the folder where this stuff is. But after you use it a little bit, you kind of get used to the idea. And it does organize things on a Mac from the right to the left. And so when you expand these folders, it pushes icons to the left. You can also arrange files. If you go to the preferences or the sorting options, and an easy way to do that is to right-click your mouse on the desktop. And if you don't have a mouse or you're using a trackpad and you don't understand how to do it with multiple fingers, you can always hold down the Control button and then click. It's the same as doing a right mouse click. So that's a little extra pro tip for you there today. But when you arrange files, you can sort them by name, file type, those type of things. That's all found in your desktop view cleanup by subfolder. So what I like to do is sort things by kind. So this is like stacks. If you're not using stacks and you just want to have the Wild West of icons, at least organize them by like kind or alphabetical or something. And that way you can easily find them. But if you do them by kind, it's going to stack all your hard drives, all your PDFs, all your JPEGs kind of next to each other.
Yeah.
And then you can also set your icons to be set in a grid pattern, so they're not overlapping and on top of each other. And you can even control the spacing that those grids are. So, and you can even control the icon size. If you want the icons to be really big and the spacing really big, so like 12 icons fills up your entire screen, or if you're a crazy person, make them very, very micro to where they're just the size of a pinhead, and you can have thousands of them on your screen at the same time. And likewise, you can also change the point size of the font. You can make it larger or smaller. Yeah. And you can even put the text of the icon to the right-hand side if you don't want it on the bottom. So many of these things are configurable, and you might not even know that they're there. I have experimented with this particular thing in the past, and I'm not going to recommend it. I had set up a smart folder at some point to automatically, or it was some type of automation, to automatically, if I put a JPEG or other image file on my desktop, it will move it to an image folder on my iCloud drive, which seems great. It's cleaning up your documents for you.
Yeah.
But when you like get an email or something and you drag it to your desktop because you want to do something with it, a few seconds later you go to your desktop and it's not there.
It's gone.
So you have to dig through all your...
Don't over-automate.
Yeah. I have to go through my file menu and find the stuff. So that's how you can organize your Mac's desktop. Is there anything you'd like to add to that fire hose of cleaning up your desktop on a Mac?
No, I just advise you to do it in my IT world. I have seen some desktops, and even if you're not going to organize, just know how to find stuff quickly. Name files better. Don't have Untitled 1, Untitled 2, Untitled 3. Use good file names, do all of that stuff so that, because I am a strong believer of using the search function for different things. For being able to find files and track stuff down. But yeah, spend a little time organizing your files, because you can waste a lot of time looking for files, and I have sat with people looking for files and wasted a lot of my time watching them painfully trying to navigate their computer. So there's really no excuse in 2022 not to be able to navigate your computer well, and having a clean desktop can be a very good start to that process. Well, on to our takes for the week. If you couldn't guess, the week between Christmas and New Year's is scant on news in the tech world. A lot of people aren't working, and then CES coming up. But there was a story that I saw going around. This was actually off of BBC News. The headline: Alexa tells 10-year-old girl to touch live plug with penny.
What?
Yes. So it was a family, and they were trying to do different, challenges, like, feats of strength, minor feats of strength around their house, trying to pass the time. And the daughter asks Alexa for a challenge, and it said, plug in a phone charger about halfway into a wall outlet, then touch a penny to the exposed prongs.
Are you kidding me? That just sounds fantastical.
Yeah, so apparently it was the dangerous activity known as the Penny Challenge began circulating on TikTok and other social media websites about a year ago. Another one of these stupid challenges that the Darwin effect of following these things. So somehow it had gotten into Alexa's algorithm, and it suggested this thing. Luckily,
that is frightening.
The mother intervened, yelling, "No, Alexa, no!" And she said, however, her daughter was too smart to do something like that. But Amazon has
they have since taken that off, I hope.
Yes, their statement: as soon as we became aware of this error, we took swift action to fix it. So, just kind of one of those. Somehow it got in the algorithm because it had been in the news in the past. Just a little pro tip: don't put a lot of metal around outlets. That's just kind of a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, it is. Unless
it is a plug that you are safely plugging into the outlet for a device that you are confident should be plugged into the outlet. So, a little... Again, probably one we don't have to state, but we might as well state it because the BBC decided to share this story with that headline on it.
Yeah, and surprisingly, UK plugs, even though they're horrendously big, are actually safer than the US plugs. Here, it's quite easy to pull it out and put a penny in there. With the UK plugs, they're farther apart and they're coated, except for the very tip.
Oh, yeah,
and so you'd have to pull it way out. And I'm not even sure a penny would fit in there. You'd have to short it with something else, like a paper clip or something like that. But yeah, don't mess with electricity. People die messing with electricity.
Yes, this is true. Well, our next story is a doozy.
Oh, yeah?
From Bleeping Computer. University loses 77 terabytes terabytes with a T of research data due to backup error.
And Nate, before we talk about this story, I would like to remind everyone that this broadcast is brought to you by One Backup is None Backup. You can't move forward unless you back up. Behold, the power of backup.
Ooh, wow. I'm sold. I'm going to start backing stuff up. No, and as we talk about resolutions throughout the episode, getting your data backed up is a great thing. A listener and or friend of the show that shall remain anonymous, who has had issues with external hard drives in the past, actually had a external hard drive fail a while back, but they had Backblaze set up, and it was a company hard drive. So
nice.
He or she, he actually used the service with Backblaze where I believe you pay $200 and they send you a hard drive because it was over a terabyte of data.
Yeah.
So downloading that from their website could be a nightmare. So we looked at the holistic cost. And spending the $200 to get the external hard drive, I think they even overnight it and stuff. They do a really good job.
Yeah.
But again, if you have any data that you would not want to lose, you have no excuse not get it backed up via Backblaze or Google Photos or a million different options. Have some different copies, which I'm guessing the Kyoto University in Japan is probably wishing they would have had a better system. There was an error in the backup system of a Hewlett-Packard, or HP, supercomputer. The incident occurred between December 14th and 16th, 2021, and resulted in 34 million files from 14 research groups being wiped from the system and the backup file.
Guess what, Nate? One backup is none backup, and this is a perfect example of this. Now, hopefully some of these researchers had their own copies, like a thumb drive.
You would think so, yeah.
But rebuilding it and connecting it all back together is going to cost them a lot of time and effort to do that.
Yeah. The university concluded that the work of 4 of the affected groups could no longer be restored. All affected users have been individually notified and put on suicide watch, I'm sure, of the incident via email, but no details were published on the type of work that was lost. And I mean, we're talking about a supercomputer here, so you're talking massive amounts of storage and massive computers. And, this could possibly be life-damaging, life-altering research that's being done here that is lost. And it says, its research excellence and importance is particularly distinctive in the area of chemistry, where it ranks 4th in the world, this university, while it also contributes to biology, pharmacology, immunology, material science, and physics, which none of those things are really important in the world right now. So who needs any research on anything dealing with that stuff or not? But it's
77
pretty crazy.
Terabytes. So most of us might have a 1 or 2 terabyte drive sitting on our desktop, and they range from about $100 and $150 for that size of storage. So take that times 77.
Yes.
If you had a whole desk full of them.
Even I do not have 77 terabytes of storage, I don't think.
No.
I have more than the average bear, but I do not have that much. But yeah, just a great reminder as we're in the new year to make sure, whether it's personal stuff, work stuff, anything. I was DJing at the bar the other weekend, and there was a guy that came up and was talking to me and wanted to request a song. He lived nearby, but I don't think he didn't have a cell phone. He didn't have internet at home.
What?
So he was in the bar on his laptop using Wi-Fi, and while I was there, I think his hard drive went out. like died, and he was like said he was in an important conversation. Seems like a little bit of a hectic lifestyle this guy led, but he was like, yeah, I kept getting these warnings that my computer was having issues and my hard drive was going bad, so I think it finally broke. So I actually went over and took a quick look at it to try to help him out, but yeah, so he did have a thumb drive with all of his important documents, though. So
that's good.
He might be saved on that, but
still,
yeah, I can't, and it is so hard to buy into a good backup strategy until you experience data loss. That is usually when I talk to people and they say, "Yeah, I need to do a better job backing up." But if you could please, for me, just back up your stuff ahead of time, because I was thinking about it. As I was reading this article, I mean, over the years, I've had probably a dozen of my own hard drives fail for different reasons, whether it was, I dropped them or they just got old and went bad. It happens. It's not if, it's when. So please.
Yeah, so you may be asking, well, what if I want to sign up for Backblaze, or how do I do all that? Well, go to notnerd.com and you can click the Support Us link. And there is a link there for Backblaze. And that is one way you can support the podcast, because we get a small kickback from Backblaze if somebody signs up through the link. And it's perpetual, isn't it? Don't we continue to get it as long as they're a subscriber?
Yes, I believe so. So that since we aren't Amazon affiliates anymore, that is one way you can support us. And one of these days, one of my New Year's resolutions is that I'm going to clean up our pick store and all that and see if I can get an Amazon affiliate going again. You can also just go to notnerd.com/backblaze and it'll pop up with that as well. So yes, please do that. Please do that. Another helpful item in our lives is our Apple Watch. And Apple has shared real stories from Apple Watch users in new 911 videos. So
now I heard about these, but I haven't watched them yet. And I guess they're something else, aren't they?
Yes. For our international listeners that were referenced before, 911 is our emergency line. So they put out a video. So yeah, it's just a 1 minute and 9 second video with 3 different stories where people's Apple Watch most likely saved their lives. So it's there has been some hubbub that they're just fear mongering and stuff, but it's like it's real. I mean, you don't have to have an Apple Watch, but if you got in a situation, one of them's a surfer, one of them had fallen from a ladder, so it's a good thing. You can't deny that. No. If you happen to have an Apple Watch, especially the one with the cellular connection, and find yourself in a bind, and with the fall detection that you have, where it does some of the automated stuff, Apple Watch is a pretty cool thing. Not to mention all the health benefits and health tracking and everything you can do with it. So yeah,
very, very cool.
Yes. Our bonus odd take of the week. This is one I found a while, and your results may vary. It's a project by Pudding.cool, which I think we've used some of their stuff before on the bonus odd takes. They do different things, but this one's titled, "How Bad Is Your Streaming Music? Our Sophisticated AI Judges Your Awful Taste in Music." So I tried this with my Spotify account, which I use more often than Apple Music, and it said that Spotify has limited how much they can do with it. So it said try again later. So I tried with my Apple Music, and it really it gives you it's scanning your library, and then it starts giving you some feedback, and it picked on me for, I think, the song "Happier" by Marshmello. It's like, "Do you really listen to this song?" And I say yes, and like, ironically, and I said no, and it's like, oh, okay. And so I think it said that my music listening was 75% bad or something. So it was funny. They tried to be real snarky with it, but
now, Nate, are there any security implications of logging into this with your Apple Music? Is it doing it using Apple Music's login service, or are you giving them your username and password to log in through their service? Which is a subtle difference.
they do address this as you're going through the process. It's like, wait, I'm giving you my info, and for both Spotify and Apple Music, it goes through their login interface.
Okay.
And they're very specific that all they're doing is a one-time read of your plays or your listens. They can't post anything. They can't do anything else. They're specifically, and they've got a link down at the very bottom corner of the page that is their privacy thing. It says, this is a satirical project and does not use real artificial intelligence, but a faux, pretentious, music-loving AI. The code creates a custom blend of jokes from our database paired with the insights found in the artist, album, genre, and track data from your Spotify or Apple Music. This project does not save any Spotify or Apple Music data. When you log in with Spotify or Apple account, it creates a special one-time code to read your top songs and tracks, as well as recent playlists. That access goes away until you come back. To remove ties between your Spotify account and this project, click Remove Access for Bad Music on the Spotify's third-party app page here. To log out of your Apple Music account, go here. You can find our site-wide privacy policy here. So a very tongue-in-cheek, but it was fun to get ripped on for my music listening habits.
Yeah, I just try to sign in, and I have a bunch of pop-up blockers and stuff, so I think it blocks some of the things. But I'm going to give it a try. When I did click it, it did bring up Apple's very own login interface and not some sketchy thing. So Nate and I risk our music security for our listeners. Yes. We're on the front lines here.
Yes, we do. And we also risk our budgets with our picks of the week.
Yeah, so I think it was last week where I talked about how I pretty much buy every Wyze product known to man.
Yes.
And one of the products that I purchased that was initially available and then went out of stock for a long time, but mysteriously came back in stock, was the Wyze Car. And you're thinking, are they like Tesla or Apple that's working on this behind the scenes car that we always hear about? No. This is a remote control toy. It costs about $50. I'm a little embarrassed to say that I spent that much on it because it's honestly not that good. And so this pick of the week is not really a recommendation, just to let you know some of the stuff that I purchased. So the Wyze Car is kind of this cool truck looking device. It's all black with big fat tires on it. And you take a version 2 Wyze camera, and preferably black. I suppose it would work with white, but it wouldn't match their color scheme. And it also comes with a power bank, a Wyze power bank. So now I've added that to my arsenal as well.
Nice.
And you put it together with the supplied screws and screwdriver, and then you hook up your camera as you normally would, and then you download the Wyze Car app. And of course, you log in with the same credentials. It finds the camera that's the right one, and then you connect them together, and then boom. You have this interface that shows you the camera and then a couple joystick controls for left, right, forward, back. And you view what's coming out of the camera, and you can drive down your hallway or out in the front or whatever. Now, it does rely on Wi-Fi, but you can put it in travel mode where the camera or the car, I'm not quite sure, goes into its own personal hotspot. And then you can connect your phone to the camera's hotspot and do it like if you're in a park or on vacation or something like that. But it moves kind of slow, but I have tried it a little bit at where I work, and in the building you can go down the hallways and turn because there's Wi-Fi everywhere. And it's too bad I can't figure out a way to get the elevator to work, because I could push it into the elevator, drive it in the elevator, go up to the floor, drive around on other levels. It would be kind of fun. So maybe I'll just run it to the top of the stairs and then go from there. But the Wyze Car, if you're interested, I'm not sure if they're in stock anymore, but they're $50 just kind of for a fun, gimmicky toy.
Yeah, no, that is, and you get the power bank, so that
that was worth at least $20 of the thing.
Yeah, so it does look like they are in stock, and you can buy the Wyze Car power bank and a Wyze Cam Black if you need it for $80.
Yeah.
Or just the car and the power bank for $60.
Yeah, so. I had the camera already, and I think it was $10 off when I got it. I think shipping was free because I bought some other stuff as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, my pick of the week, before I get to it this week, I did just want to mention, and thank you, Dave, the Wyze scale. I got that set up and working. It is much better than my old scale.
Okay, good. Good.
Very easy to use, works well with the app. I can weigh myself anytime, and then when I open the app, it data syncs in there and everything. So, yeah, the Wyze scale is and I believe it's the Wyze Scale S. They have like 2 different, whatever. It works great. So thank you for that. I also wanted to mention, you and I had some discussions about Kindles a while back, and I had mentioned, I think my parents are on the original one. Well, we went in and got them the new Paperwhites, each of them a new Kindle Paperwhite for Christmas, and they are very impressed. And after they opened them, I said, "Yeah, how old are your guys's?" I was trying to figure out, and they didn't really know for sure, but they were saying that my dad's had just started skipping pages, which is not a good.
Is probably bad.
Probably, yeah. And so it was good timing. He actually just had surgery, so he has been using it a lot. So thank you for both of those things. And then my pick of the week, I believe it's something I saw on the Cool Tools website, which I'm always watching out for their new recommendations. But it is the CarbonKlean Peeps Eyeglass Lens Cleaner, efficient, durable carbon microfiber technology, exclusively used by NASA.
What?
500 uses, injected purple.
But does SpaceX use it? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, who cares about NASA these days? So I'll actually send you the link. I saw this. I don't wear, I wear sunglasses a lot when the sun's out, which is not often this time of year. Oof. But both my wife and my daughter wear glasses, and my wife likes to keep their glasses very clean. So I picked this up for Christmas for her. And
come on, is this really exclusively used by NASA?
It's what it says. It does have 4 stars on 1,200 ratings, but what it is it's kind of a like a tweezers kind of setup, yeah, with 2 little microfiber ends on it. So you just put that on either side of your glasses, so you can kind of apply pressure and just clean them very easily. On the other end, there's a little brush that you can scoop out, which I don't know why you would ever need. If your glasses can be cleaned with a brush, I don't know. Maybe there's some debris on them that you want to brush away before you put the polisher on there. So you just went through a dust storm or something. Yeah. But no, I will say this is a very, very nice little thing. I don't know that this brand is any better. I'm looking at kind of the related. They have the same brand has a tablet screen cleaner. A 3-pack for $48. Whew. Yeesh. Dang, dude. What have I made amount of money? I could buy a Wyze Car for that. You could just get dollar bills and put them in isopropyl alcohol and use them that way. Yes, but my wife did report back that it works very well to clean glasses. So I want to recommend that, as you're a glass wearer, and many people are, or at least you know somebody who is. So the CarbonKlean, with a K on the clean, but not on the carbon, Peeps Eyeglass Lens Cleaner, and I'll have a link in the show notes, as we always do. Oh, and you know what, Dave? Because we've been talking about resolutions and all this stuff, I'm going to do a bonus pick of the week. Oh boy! To kind of cover those topics. So there's some things that I like data. I don't like doing a lot of work to get data, but if there's an easy way. And so I was thinking through some different things, and just like exercise or whatever it is, of just keeping track of how often I'm doing specific things. And so I went into the App Store, as one would do, and found an app called Counter. Okay. Revolutionary name there, if you can take any guesses. I hardly knew her. Hey-o. So it's got a light green logo with a white circle and 2 up arrows if you're looking for it, and don't go to the show notes. But what it is, it's just a very simple app. You go in there and you can have all these counters in there. Now, it's free with in-app purchases. The only in-app purchase I saw was you can pay $5 to get rid of ads, and it's just kind of got the little ad bar across the bottom. So not a big deal for me at this point. But you can just add them in, and then you just press the button, and you can count things. And you can colorize them, and you can do different things. So if you just need to track something simply, even if it was just how many people are coming into a event or whatever, which, you know, is less than 10 these days for any events, but just a cool little app that I found. So that was a quick little aside. If you are looking for a way to track anything that you're trying to do, you can do that, and very easily and free. So okay, well, we have talked at you long enough. Hopefully we gave you some good little ideas of how you can not necessarily do New Year's resolutions, but make some life improvements from this episode, because that is our goal, to get you out there and tech better. It works. Nobody's paying attention. The music's come in. Nobody's paying attention to that.
The one guy
anyways.
from Jamaica who listened
Yes.
5 years ago. Okay, now you can do your the wonderful intro of me.
Yes.
Recording stopped. Why does it sound so weird?